Give me an example of how the world is noticing Doge. I understand the sentiment on their end is getting better, and even define what better means and why this is going down.
Treasuries and the stock market are forward-looking indicators, and the bond market is bigger than the stock market globally.
So it's basically what everyone else wanted America to be doing, which is like, get your house in order.
Bingo.
Because right now, if you look at the news right now, guess what? When you look at the news, even when you look at X, right, which is Elon's platform, because I feel like he does want like everybody's messages to get out there, the focus is on all the people losing jobs in the government and not necessarily their overall goal for the bottom line. Other countries that holds U.S. debts, they're like, oh, dang, they're finally getting the machine running efficiently.
This is hedge funds. This is other countries. This is a forward-looking indicator where they're basically saying three things. It looks like you're getting inflation under control. It looks like you're getting your house in order. You're cutting your spending, and you're getting your government more streamlined and running like a better machine. The world is saying, I have faith in the direction the US is currently going. So let's talk real estate for the exact example. Real estate was basically 7.2. This morning it was 6.8. That's a significant movement in
one
mortgage.
day?
No, since January.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
In mortgage rates. That will also start to slowly show up in auto loans, in student debt. And you can see this 10-year treasury now trending in the right direction. Well, for our regular subscribers, our regular listeners, P.S., if you're on Apple, we need more reviews on Apple. Please give us a review if you listen. I would super appreciate that. But this right here trending down says demand is going to go up. So remember, real estate, residential real estate is at a transaction low right now. We're selling about the same amount of homes in the United States as in 1995. And in the Seattle metro, we're selling the same amount of homes as in 2012.
That's a lot of it is rates.
It's all rates.
Oh, and not inventory.
It is inventory. With the really expensive rates, we don't have the move-up buyer, and the move-up buyer generally sells their home and buys the next one, but they can't afford to move into the next one.
With low inventory, naturally, the prices are just staying high as well. But with lower rates, people can afford it. But then it gets tricky because guess what? Home prices are going up.
No matter how you look at it, bingo, is you're in a sweet spot right now at the point where it appears rates are trending in a downward direction. Therefore, demand will be going up over the next 2 years. And as that demand increases, the velocity of prices going up will increase. If you're the investor, it's like, okay, buy now. Well, I don't have good cash flow. Who cares? You're going to have to pay a lot more later. Oh, I'm the first-time home buyer. What do? Buy now. Or you're just going to have to pay more later. Oh, I'm a move-up buyer. What should I do? You should rent your first home and turn around and buy another one and then refinance as debt comes down. So I wanted to go to the negative of this. So I went to Reddit. What does Reddit think about real estate and Doge? One of the things they thought, the foreclosure crisis is going to finally be here. Sorry, not happening. There's too much cheap debt, and foreclosures right now are at like a 30-year low. Second thing Reddit said, well, these banks are going to have to start foreclosing on people because they can't keep kicking the can down. No, incorrect. I think the banks learned from the great financial crisis because we lost so many banks, we had so many defaults, that they're now doing workouts way more than foreclosures. They're working through things and changing things and allowing people more opportunity before they go into foreclosure, such as short sale, such as deed in lieu, such as loan modification, such as recasting the debt. Where does this create a massive bright spot? It creates a massive bright spot in multifamily, and here's why. Multifamily starts dropped 24.1% from October and 28.8% year over year, signaling a massive slowdown in multifamily new construction. Now, there are places where multifamily is growing, and it's growing in the Southwest and in the Northeast. But guess what the West saw? AKA Seattle, West Coast, East Coast. We're down 32.7% in permits. So if I'm an investor in my area I'm thinking multifamily as rates drop. I'm thinking I start land development applications now in 2025 and in 2026, knowing that that project's not going to be finished for 2 to 3 years from now. And I'm going to most likely have cheaper debt. Plus, there's a massive low. And then we'll throw this up on the screen just so you can see this decline. But realize right now, because this decline is so big, except for in places like Texas and Florida and Utah, that creates massive opportunity in the multifamily space. So there's opportunities that we see. I want to kind of recap this whole thing. I think the commercial office space is going to get even more beat up. That's going to create opportunities with banks that have to unload inventory, with investors that have to unload inventory. It's going to create opportunities for rezones and opportunities for low rent, even for some small businesses to move in. Go, Doge, go. Okay. Not political, but man, that helps my pocketbook personally. Wait a second. It might also help President Trump's pocketbook because he's a real estate guy. It might also help Elon because he sells a bunch of consumer goods. So you have to think about like where are the motivations, always follow the money. And then lastly, this big drop in multifamily, especially here in the West, is a good sign for the future. What we don't like here in the West in relation to multifamily that you just have to be aware of is our eviction laws. I went and looked at a property in Lake Stevens that we can make a cash offer on right now. They're willing to offer it to me $150,000 below market. They've owned this property since the early 90s. When I drove by at 8 o'clock this morning, one tweaker was out playing in her car. One tweaker stumbled out into the road. A third zombified tweaker was walking by. And I was like, what is going on? And then they stopped in the middle of the road, and I was literally there to look at the property. They just walked out us, so I'm just like casually shooting pictures and photos. And what I realized was the verbal 150 grand we got off wasn't enough. So this is another example of this crazy lawlessness, this lack of protection for landlords, this rampant drug abuse and probably mental illness that's definitely not being treated, and they're not being able to find the care they need, running rampant and destroying this person's property value. We're gonna have a call later today to discuss 5 options on this property. And the person said, oh, it will only take a few months to evict those people. And I said, ma'am, I'm really good at this. And the last one I did took me 11. And it cost me like $15,000. So that's something we have to do. If we're going to buy this property, we got to factor in major carrying costs, plus brain damage and a little bit of heartache.
So like double the price.
Yeah, like double the price. And what I want people thinking about is, 1, our economy is not perfect. So you got to be cautiously optimistic. 2, prepare for the worst and believe and plan for the best right now. Because I believe overall, even though we're still going to go through some short-term pain, I believe that we're headed in the right direction from an economic perspective that's going to very much pro real estate over the next 4 years and over the next 10 years. Very bullish long run right now, slight bearish short run, but very optimistic.